When I came up with the idea of the dinner party of the future, I wanted it to really be a dialogue on food and sustainability. What foods are going to be around in 50 years? I think the guests are in for a lot of surprises. I want my cuisine to be provocative, maybe even unsettling. It allows me to go completely outside the box.
There is a sense of mystery and wonderment that I think is keeping us on our toes.
If he brings bugs, I think we're all gonna look at it for a second and then trust him and just eat it.
Living on a boat in Santa Barbara makes me incredibly excited about seafood. And every day I come up to Los Olivos, so I get a little bit of the best of both worlds. I like to call tonight's first course a virtual oyster. This is combining virtual reality with a very unusual ingredient. Please go ahead and put the goggles on. And we're gonna go visit a friend of mine who has an oyster farm in Morro Bay. We're facing a lot of challenges with CO2 in the atmosphere that's getting filtered by the ocean. It means that the waters are becoming more acidic. Those oysters are no longer able to produce the shells that they once were. Hopefully, the guests will have no idea that they're not eating an oyster. So inside that oyster shell is actually a juvenile moon jellyfish. To eat fresh California moon jellyfish is almost unheard of.
So you basically just place it into an oyster shell?
That's it.
These were like super delicate and I was fooled.
I really feel that if climate change continues the way that it is, that things like mussels and oysters may not be around in 50 years. Instead, we're gonna see blooms of jellyfish. Tonight's second course is going to focus on edible algae and different sea creatures. So the idea is to have people start thinking about eating lower on the trophic scale. It's just not sustainable for everyone to eat sea bass and salmon. So we're looking at things like sand crabs and sea cucumbers and keyhole limpets, things that we don't often think of on menus, but that I think should get more attention.
This is going below what I would have considered to be the seafood I would eat, and sort of almost reimagining the potential of what lies beneath.
Very pleasantly surprised. I was very hesitant about the sea cucumber.
Course 3 is all about our aquaponics. We're using crayfish and catfish, as well as a variety of spicy greens like nasturtiums and mustard. Aquaponics is essentially combining mariculture, or fish farming, with hydroponics, or vegetable farming, and use them in tandem to feed off each other. The fish provide nutrients for the plants filter the water back down for the fish. These are systems that you could set up on a roof in downtown. It really enables you to bring fresh foods into the city center. When you're most creative is when you give yourself restrictions, but when you really focus on just these 3 boxes and see what you can create, that's the most exciting part for me.
It's amazing because it's coming from a full circle sustainable unit.
And seeing a system like this, I think, well, wait a minute, like I could actually do that at home.
Fourth course is all about luxury. We are a cattle ranch in Los Olivos, and we raise amazing wagyu beef. I think that in the future, wagyu beef will be around, but it's gonna be more of a luxury ingredient. People won't sit down to a 12-ounce steak. They'll have a little 2-ounce perfectly cooked piece of ribeye, or perhaps some braised oxtail. We look at the overall ecology of creating a closed loop. So this is the grape hummus that we get from the winery, and you can see its stems, seeds, skins, and it forms the basis for our feed program.
California wagyu doesn't really taste like any other beef. We're in wine country, so I guess it's got terroir. That's the easiest way to say it.
The food that excites me most is the food that's surrounding me, taking what's mundane to most people and trying to make them the highlight of a dish. For dessert, we're gonna create a toasted acorn cake with candied yucca blossoms and a little acorn ganache.
I grew up in California, and so I've seen acorns all over the place, and you really do just kind of kick them out of the way. And it's amazing to think that something actually comes out of this.
My ultimate hope is that this experience really prompts a dialogue about dining and the future of foods.
There are so many things that we ate here tonight that I think are essentially gateway foods for people to think about eating a different way.
He is such an innovator. This could be the future of food.
My dream was to create something that would truly be farm to table. It's become such an exploited term. Food shapes communities. And so when people come here, they experience something that's unique to Los Olivos, but it goes beyond that. It goes to actually preserving the community itself and making sure that it's intact for future generations.